Hey there, what's going on? Thank you for tuning into the video today. My name is Jesse from rosefitnessny.com and the Modern Man program. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about what the hell should you do if you feel like you've hit a weight loss plateau. And this is one of the most common questions I get asked, and it usually goes something along the lines of this, like, Jesse, I've been eating well, I've been exercising for, several weeks now, maybe a couple months even, and I've been seeing great progress. But that progress really slowed down or it just stopped, and I've been hovering around the same weight for a while now. So what should I do to kind of break through that plateau or jumpstart my progress again? So if you feel like you've hit some sort of plateau, in this video I'm going to cover the 4 things that I recommend you do in order to get back on track, start seeing more progress, and understand why you've kind of slowed down a little bit. But I do want to make this very clear that these 4 things that I'm going to share with you are real strategies and real tools that you can use for the rest of your life. So they're going to take a little bit of time, right? Step number 1 is going to take a few days to implement. Step number 2, going to take another few days to implement. And if you're here looking for a fast result or a quick fix, right? If you're looking for me to tell you about a supplement that's going to speed up your results, or do a certain workout or a certain diet to just make things go really fast, you're looking for a quick fix, and you're not going to get that from here. You're not going to get that from anywhere. So I just want to make that clear, and if that is what you're looking for, you can just stop watching the video now. So step number 1 is to make sure we're tracking our progress and our weight accurately in the first place. All right, so the way to properly do this, the way I do it myself and with my clients, is to weigh in every single day, 7 days out of the week. And there's a few things that you want to do properly here. So the first thing is you want to weigh yourself first thing in the morning, after using the bathroom, and making sure there's no food or water in you, because that will skew the weigh in, and that will actually make you weigh heavier if you drink anything or if you eat anything. Also, like most people know, you don't want to be wearing any clothes when you weigh in. The reason we weigh in every single day is so we can take the average weekly weight and compare it to the previous week's average weekly weight, because our weight fluctuates on a day-to-day basis. So if you're only weighing yourself once a week, or 2 or 3 or 4 times a week, there's not a full picture of what's going on. You may weigh in at 195 all 4 or 5 times and think that you haven't lost any weight, when the reality is your average weight could be trending downward and you could be going in the right direction. It's just at a slow rate that you're not aware of. So I'm going to share with you the full tracker and the spreadsheet that I use for myself and my clients, so that maybe you can emulate something like that, gather the best possible information, and actually know if you've hit a plateau or if you're still actually losing weight. And the last thing I want to say about step number 1 and tracking your progress is that progress isn't only reflected on the scale. So scale weight is by far, not the most important thing. And look for other areas that you may notice any improvements, like if your clothes are fitting better, if they're looser than they used to be, or if an old pair of pants fits you that hadn't fit you in a long time, or even if you notice that you're getting stronger and your exercises are getting a bit easier. Those are all signs of progress and fat loss as well. So once we know for a fact where your weekly average weight is trending down or trending up, step number 2 is to make sure that you're tracking your food accurately and you know exactly how many calories you're actually eating. And this is usually the step where people are a little bit hesitant and they assume, I know I'm tracking accurately, I've been doing this for a while now, but just trust me on this one, right? No matter how advanced you are at tracking your food, it's always beneficial to go back to basics, make sure that you're weighing everything out, make sure that the portion sizes you're tracking are completely accurate. And an example I like to use is from my own experience tracking my food just a couple years ago in 2018. Even though I'm a professional and I'm a trainer and I've been doing this for a while, what I was doing was I was eating some peanut butter on celery, and I was in an aggressive fat loss phase. I was eating celery with some peanut butter as a snack each night, and I wasn't weighing out on a food scale the peanut butter that I was adding. And I was just eyeballing it, and 2 tablespoons is considered 1 serving, and that's about 190 calories. So I was just kind of eyeballing it, and for several weeks in a row I wasn't getting leaner, I wasn't seeing much progress, and it got to the point where my coach at the time said, you got to weigh that out, you got to make sure that you're doing it accurately. And so I got out my food scale, I weighed out my peanut butter one night, and it turned out to be 3 servings of peanut butter. So I was tracking 190 calories worth of peanut butter, 1 serving. I was really eating 570 calories worth, and I was doing that 5 or 6 nights a week. So I was actually eating 2,000 calories, about, give or take, more calories each week than I was actually tracking. So when it comes to some of these foods that are a little bit tricky to track, like peanut butter, nuts in general, cereal, rice, pasta, anything like that, you really need to be weighing it out on a food scale and making sure it's exactly the serving size that you think it is, because these are the reasons why we can easily be overeating and not really know it. So step number 2, really go back, measure out on a food scale every single thing that you're eating for a week. Make sure that it's exactly what you thought it was, and this could very well help you break through your plateau alone, or you can just confirm that you're doing everything exactly right. So once we've done step 1 and step 2, step 3 is to make any necessary adjustments. Once we know exactly where our progress is and we're tracking it in much detail, and once we know exactly how many calories we're eating and we're 100% accurate on those things, it's time to make any adjustments that might help us see some more progress. The most obvious and simple way to continue to lose more weight and lose more body fat is to lower the amount of calories that you're eating. So reduce the amount of food you're eating. And if you have some flexibility to do that and you feel like you can sustain it, that is the easiest step to make. So for example, if you're eating 2,200 calories, you could lower it to 2,100 calories and see what happens to your weekly average weight after making that adjustment. But unfortunately, a lot of people who have come to me with this question about breaking through a plateau, they don't have a lot of flexibility with their nutrition because they're already eating very aggressively and eating low amounts of food. So if you're eating under 2,000 calories already, this may not be the best option for you. So a second and very obvious adjustment you could make here is to increase the amount of exercise you do. So one way to do this would be to simply add a day or 2 of cardio to your routine, where you burn 300 or 400 calories in that cardio session. A second way is to simply increase the amount of training, as far as like using heavier weights, or you could increase the amount of sets or reps that you do, so you're actually doing more volume. And a third way to increase your overall movement or exercise is through increasing your NEAT, which technically stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which nobody wants to say, so just call it NEAT. This basically means like things throughout the day that you're doing that aren't technically exercise but that will burn calories. So like standing up at a desk instead of sitting down, taking the stairs instead of taking an elevator, walking further instead of parking closer, parking further away, even stuff like fidgeting at your seat or something like that. So doing stuff like this actually makes a big difference as well. So let me be clear, what I don't recommend doing is doing all of this stuff at once to try to bust through a plateau, right? You want to do things one step at a time. So maybe reduce your calories by 100 calories for this week and see if, that actually leads to a bit quicker weight loss. Or if you're going with the route of increasing your exercise, don't add cardio, do more sets and reps, and increase your NEAT all at the same time. Do it one step at a time because you may not need all of them. So after the obvious adjustments of reducing food or increasing movement, a third strategy you could take is adding in a refeed day, which would generally be about once per week. And for people who are dieting and eating in a calorie deficit and losing weight, at some point, whether it's in week 4 or week 12 or however long it takes you, you're going to start to feel hungry. You're going to start to feel like, that calorie deficit is catching up with you a little bit. And for my own personal use, I really like to add in a refeed day when I'm starting to get the feelings of my nutrition plan being a little bit unsustainable, that I don't know if I can really stick to it and actually execute it properly, right? I'm starting to maybe snack a little bit or get really bad urges to snack and eat out of my nutrition plan. This is a good time to add in a refeed day. And a refeed day is definitely not a cheat day. So you're not eating whatever you want and eating a whole bunch of junk. basically you are eating more food. You're refilling your system and your body with carbs and glycogen. So on a refeed day, you're still tracking your food, and it's still a very strategic day of eating, but your carbs might be 2 or 3 times higher than an average day of eating, whereas your protein is probably around the same number, and your fats are either probably around the same number or maybe even a little bit lower. And let me just say, for someone who's trying to lose weight, get leaner, get as shredded as possible, refeed days are incredible, and you should definitely have one if you're looking to lose weight and be in a fat loss phase for an extended period of time. And as you can imagine, if you're having a refeed day and you're eating 2 or 3 times the amount of carbs than you usually have, you're probably going to see a little bit of a spike in weight for the next couple days. And that doesn't mean at all that you gained body fat or anything like that, right? It's probably water weight. And you can't let that little spike for the next couple days say that you're never going to do that again, right? You have to understand that it's a long-term approach, and adding in a refeed day can be massively helpful for long-term fat loss. It will allow you to stick to your nutrition plan and eat in a calorie deficit probably for more weeks, because you know that you've got on day 7 a nice day of eating coming to you. And also refilling your system with carbs and glycogen is going to allow you to maintain more muscle mass as you're losing weight and losing body fat throughout the process. And if you have any questions on refeed days and how to execute it properly for your particular body and your goals, feel free to send me a message or an email even, and I can help you do it properly, because the truth is, if you're not doing it properly and strategically, it can hurt you. And the final step that probably nobody wants to hear, and that's why I saved it for last, and it's step number 4, is to be patient. Because the truth is, once you do step number 1 and you track your weight every day, and you see what your average weekly weight is compared to last week's average weekly weight, what honestly most people see is that their weight is still going down. They still are seeing results. It's just not as rapid as it was at the beginning. And this is one of the biggest downfalls in a lot of people's fitness journey, is that they want to see really fast, rapid results, and they get really discouraged when it's going at a slow, more consistent rate. And that's not the way it should be, right? This is a lifelong game. The quicker you lose weight, the more likely you are to put on that weight later on. And a good rate to be losing weight, if you've got weight to lose and you want to get leaner, I'd say is anywhere from ½ pound per week, maybe up to 2 pounds per week. So even if you are losing towards the bottom end of that, ½ pound per week, that's still not enough to really realize it unless you're doing what I said in step number 1, tracking your weight every single day and having the weekly average weight shown compared to the previous week. You probably wouldn't even realize that you're on a good track and losing at a good rate. And it's very important to realize that you're not going to lose weight every single week for the rest of your life. If you lost 1 pound every single week for a year, you will have lost 52 pounds, right? Most people, that would be a life-changing amount of weight to lose. So basically, do what's working for you, make sure you're tracking your progress accurately, make small little tweaks and adjustments when necessary, and be patient. Understand that you're not going to lose every single week, and you're not going to lose at a super rapid rate all the time. And here are some bonus tips that you can do that can also have a big impact on getting through a plateau and seeing some additional progress. So bonus number 1 is to limit the amount of meals that you eat out at a restaurant or fast food or takeout. And obviously we're all going to eat out from time to time, but if you're in a position where you're trying to break through a plateau and you're trying to accelerate your results, like, this is something that is going to have a real big impact on your ability to track accurately and know exactly what you're eating, is if you're the one preparing your own meals. Bonus number 2 is to make sure you're getting quality sleep. I mean, I recommend 7 to 8 or 9 hours of sleep. Everyone needs a little bit different amount, but sleep can hurt your ability to lose weight and hurt your ability to get leaner. And if you're not getting good quality sleep, or your sleep schedule is all messed up, that can have a real effect on that. And bonus number 3, probably a lot of people who are in this situation don't want to hear this, but it can be really, really helpful and even life-changing if you do it properly. And it's to give yourself a diet break, or like even go into a reverse diet. Because a lot of people who I see who are struggling, trying to lose weight, trying to get leaner for months and years at a time, is they're eating really strictly, right? They're not allowing themselves to eat more food. they're eating sub 2,000 calories for years and years and years, and they just don't have any flexibility with their nutrition. So with a diet break, what you would do is you would stop eating in a calorie deficit and you would return to maintenance calories, which, you know, for each person's a little bit different. There's a million calorie calculators online, so you can try a few of those out and see about where your maintenance calories are, and eat at calorie maintenance for a full week, right? Allow your body to have some more food. This is going to help your stress levels. This is going to help so many different things, your ability to train harder, and you're not going to gain any body fat, because that's what calorie maintenance is. Exactly the amount of calories to maintain your weight. And a reverse diet would be slowly and gradually adding in a little bit of food week by week. So if you're eating, say, 1,800 calories, maybe you would increase by 50 calories each week, or maybe even 100 calories each week. And because it's done so gradually, fat gain and gain in general would be very minimal. Obviously at the beginning it wouldn't be at all, but it's a really nice way to increase the amount of calories you're eating without doing it, you know, increasing 500 calories overnight. And I've had a lot of clients who have done this and actually seen more progress, right? On top of their initial weight loss, this has allowed them to eat more flexibly, and they felt a lot better. And that's all I've got for you in this video. Hopefully this was somewhat helpful. You got some little nuggets here and there that you can implement in your own journey. If you found this video helpful, I would love for you to give it a like or a comment down below. And if you'd like to see more videos of mine, feel free to subscribe to the channel as well. And if getting in the best shape of your life is something that you're really serious about and you want to take it to the next level, you want to have the accountability, you don't want to have to think about the guesswork of doing all these things on your own, feel free in the description of this video to apply for my Modern Man coaching program. I'll make sure that you're taken care of. I'll make sure that you get in the best shape of your life as quickly as possible, but also sustainably as well. Have a good one. I'll see you on the next video.